Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. You're now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own nothing, control everything. Really excited about everybody tuning in. Long time listeners, this is episode Generational Wealth. What is this? Generational Wealth Myths, episode 723. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. We were really excited about this particular episode. A bunch of people have reached out for years, and we're really excited. We got a bunch of things going on at the vault, and people always talk about generational wealth. So we're gonna talk about the generational wealth myths because it's like so many people that have just started throwing this word around like it's some easy thing to obtain. And if it was so easy, everybody would be doing it. But it is easy once you really start focusing on doing what we're going to talk about, but understanding that there are myths. And so we're going to just go ahead and hop into the myths here. The first myth: you think you can build generational wealth with a job. This is what a job. Like, we hear trustees come in the line and they say this type of stuff. And it's like, who you fooling? You're not fooling anybody. Sure, you want to preserve a few assets for your family. So if they don't pay property tax, they going to lose it. Did you put a system in place to at least keep paying property tax on the property if you're giving them housing? So many people say, oh, I'm going to give my family generational wealth. It's going to be real estate. If you want to do generational wealth, you got to go into real estate. Okay, so what happens when you give the next generation real estate and they don't know how to maintain the property? What are we talking about here? So we're talking about generational wealth myths. That's one of them. You think you can build generational wealth with a job? You cannot. You have to build a business. There's no other way around it. Or we got a few people that have made generational wealth in a job. We'll share with you who they are. Pretty much the lawyers we know. Lawyers that are ex-corporate contract lawyers. They made a mill. They made 2 million. They made 5 million off of deals, off of being in business rooms, doing high paid deals, and moving forward from there. There's no other way around it. Like, what other profession is going to allow somebody to retire early with millions of dollars other than some type of athlete or something? Some people say, "Oh, how do you?" Okay, we'll give credit to the athletes. Actually, they're the few employees that can actually have generational wealth as an employee and pretty much have generational wealth if they maintained it and did certain things with it as their career progressed. You hear about athletes all the time blowing through millions, uh, 50 million, 60 million, $100 million easy. Like, oh, it can. I would never blow through 60 or $100 million. Clearly, there are athletes that blow through 50, 60, $100 million easy. So the myth is that you could build generational wealth as an employee. Maybe the few athletes and lawyers that we've met, but not too many others. Actors, celebrities, sure, but not too many other people. One of the other myths that we're really excited to talk about in this episode because we noticed to be true already in our career. At the end of the day, people think they're gonna get rich off one transaction, and this is something that was a hard stinker for us to get because we would get mad at our mentors for saying this type of stuff to us. You sitting there in a meeting and you're like, "Oh man, I'm gonna get rich. I just gotta get into business and figure it out." And that ain't how they told it. That ain't how we were trained. They would sit there and tell us, "You don't get rich off one transaction." And so we were sitting there like they say, "You don't get wealthy. You don't build generational wealth off of one transaction." We're sitting there like, man. So what does that mean? It's like mentors tell us you gotta have at least two, three, multiple opportunities that you have your hands in that you can sell, that you can buy, that you can leverage and live off of the income. From that perspective, generational wealth, so you have equity in the family estate. Like, we actually know, and this isn't a promotion of these companies. It's just we know an individual that they're tied to these companies, and so their family actually has two multi-hundred million dollar companies. One of them is Wawa, and the other one's DuPont. And the individual's last name is DuPont. And okay, they're generational wealthers. They got two families that came together. And even in that situation, it's more than one transaction going on there. So, oh yeah, that's the reason why I brought up him. So, what he shared with us was specifically one of the family names. Their their family doesn't even manage the company anymore. They just have a holding position in the public company, and their family just lives off the dividends. Their entire bloodline lives off the company being public, and that's how it looks. Generational wealth. They got, and he told us before that they have quite a few family members living off it. So it's not like 5, 10, 15, 20. It's more than that. It's more than that for sure. And they have annual meetings they actually have family members go to the public company board meetings and things of that nature. Overall, they pretty much are not in a position where they're doing anything on a day-to-day basis of the company, but their family has a holding position in the company and their family's living off it. For this individual is at least over 50, 60 years old, just being honest. So they're easily over 50. So this individual has been living off of the family estate for a long time. And that's just how it looks, ladies and gentlemen. Do you are you gonna focus on trying to, oh, I'm gonna get in one business and I'm gonna focus on one business? And the crazy part about it, we're gonna share some real, all right, here's generational wealth myth. First of all, when you come to our sector, the private sector, this is the stupid line everybody wants to use. Oh, you gotta have some skin in the game. Y'all know what this term means. It's some skin in the game. They want you to put something up. What's your sweat equity? What's your family estate bringing to the table? Are you trying to just do business with people, or what are you bringing to the table? That's what it comes down to. But at the end of the day, people in this sector are aware that most people looking to come to the private sector, they don't have any resources. And if you come into the private sector, they think that you have resources. That's why they're asking you for skin in the game. At the end of the day, you still can use other people's money. Even in the private sector, they got private credit. They got private debt. They gonna have private debt because they got private credit. But how many people are networking with those people properly? How many people are building those relationships properly? Generational wealth myth. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't have any other trustees. First of all, Warren Buffett sits on Bill Gates Trust, and Bill Gates sits on Warren Buffett Trust. These are known pieces of information. They sit on each other's trust. Who doesn't want Warren Buffett to sit on their trust as a trustee? And he's old, over 80 years old, because he's still in there giving them quality words of wisdom so their family estate can maintain wealth from one generation to the next, utilizing him as senior counsel. Some people think, oh man, I'm gonna just build a family estate by myself. How you gonna build a family estate by yourself? I'm gonna build generational wealth by myself. I'm not gonna get out and go to wealthy meetings. I'm not gonna get out and go to high net worth investor conferences. Yeah, this is why there are whole groups of people that have families that have their assets ripped away from them by the court system, by the legal system, and otherwise, because they didn't put a system in place. They think that, oh, I could build generational wealth. I'm just gonna put some money into a trust and everything's gonna be all good. Sometimes people think, hey, I'm gonna just put money in the insurance, and this is we gonna go ahead and tell it like it is. There's no wealthy people that are giving money directly to their children. Generational wealth myth. You're not giving money directly to your kids. That's how it works. That's how you keep wealth for generations. They have to become a part of the family estate as a contributor. Are they a trustee? Are they a contributor to the family estate? Not saying, oh yeah, we're going to just give our children money because we don't want them to grow up like we did. We don't give our children money directly. That's a generational wealth myth. Who's the beneficiary? My children. That's not in our. That's not truly generational wealth mentality. That's a different type of mentality, but it's not generational wealth mentality, ladies and gentlemen. Just being honest with people in the room here. You just giving y'all heads up. We say in the room, if you give your children money directly, we have that individual or whoever that is hasn't been around enough wealthy people to know the downside of just giving some money to people randomly. It doesn't matter if they're your children or not. It's just giving somebody large lump sums of money and they don't have the wherewithal, it doesn't end well, as they say. So just to give everybody a heads up, oh, I'm gonna give my children the money, and they gonna work a job. So your children gonna work a job, but they're not gonna. But you're gonna let them manage millions or whatever you're gonna let them manage that they're supposed to live off when they don't have the skill set. See, a lot of people don't understand. Making money is a skill set. That's why most people don't succeed at trusteeship because they're not willing to put in the blood, sweat, and tears and get in there and get their hands dirty with making sure that they got the system and the team built. See, they think somebody else might build the generational wealth estate for them, and that's why the state has a estate for them by default. Because the state is aware, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. The state is aware right now that they understand that most people cannot put together their estate. That's why they got one for you by default. It's called Social Security. It's to secure your ignorance in case you don't succeed financially in life, right? The state, the welfare, general welfare fund. Well, generational wealth myth. There's so many generational wealth myth. You think you can do it by yourself? Uh, you're not thinking 3 and 4 generations ahead. So many people think, oh yeah, I'm gonna just think about my kids' kids. Well, ladies and gentlemen, traditionally, the statistics show after the first or second generation, which is literally your grandchildren or great grandchildren, 80% of the money's disappeared. Y'all can look at the country as a whole. There are so many families that were rich in the 1910s, the 1920s, and 1930s. They had land, they had property. The African Americans, quote unquote, they had a bunch of land that they owned post antebellum slavery till the 1950s, and most of that's gone. They don't own the land that they used to own because of title rights. We understand that there was an acculturation where people's land was stolen per the states, per the counties, per some of these ruthless South states. It is what it is. It is what it is. We can't have the conversation. That's why it happened in the first place, and that's why their families got the land stolen from them in the first place because they didn't know how to speak up properly, file the proper paperwork. And granted, we understand that there are challenges in the system. Once again, ignorance of the law. So if you don't know how to utilize the law system right, yes, the land got stolen from families. That's the reality. It got stolen. We can agree that it got stolen. We're not going to say, oh, yeah, they just lost the land because they didn't know what to do. That's part of it, but it was also stolen. You got the lawyers in these areas trying to get land because of their families and stuff of that nature. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, now, you're still living in the land. It's open. You can go buy it. You can buy more land. And so, if you're going to go out and buy land, and say, oh, I'm a generational wealthy from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Can you get 4 generations deep? Can you get 6 generations deep? Most people, this is what the internet will do. It'll jade you. The internet will tell you, oh yeah, no one's gonna remember your name in 3 generations. No one's gonna remember your name in 4 generations. Yeah, because you're not gonna do anything. But if you are J.D. Rockefeller, your name is gonna be remembered. If you're Rothschilds, your name's gonna be remembered. If you're part of the Kennedys, your name's gonna be remembered. That's what it is. Your name's on the side of a building if you're J. Paul Getty. You're gonna go. You're gonna have your name on the side of the building called Carnegie Institute. So if you get fooled by the fear baiters, oh yeah, no one's going to remember your name in 3 generations. You don't need to worry about generational wealth. Why would you need to focus on some people you don't even know yet? Right? Do you hear the cynicism in it? Oh yeah, no one's going to remember your name in 3 or 4 generations. So people don't do anything. Generational wealth myth. No one's going to remember your name in 3 to 4 generations. 5 generations. Okay. Generational wealth myth. That's all that is. You're looking to make your name go down in history for your family estate. Generational wealth myth. Uh, oh, here we go. This is a good one. Just thinking about it off the top of the head right now. And we'll go ahead and say it. First of all, real estate as a generational wealth tool, as the primary generational wealth tool, is a myth. You don't want to know it. Most of the modern wealth has been made in the stock market. Oh man, Trust Christian, what are you talking about? Don't say that. How do you know that? What are you gonna say? Hold on. Taking all these breaths. Oh yeah, you don't know about all of that. What are you talking about? Real estate is the king. It's everything. Everybody has to have a place to live. They're not making any more land. There's no. They're not make. The world can't have any more land. First of all, they can make islands. So yes, they can make land. The humans can make land. Okay, they can make islands. There's man-made islands. We can make land. You can make an address on an island. That's real in 2026. Oh yeah, the real estate man, it's the generational wealth tool. If you put everything in real estate, that's the way you pass along generational wealth. That's the most securest way. Yeah, but you can get that taken from you. We just shared with you, we know a family that they don't even do anything. They're just part of a public company because their family took a company public. And the company is still sustainable to this day. And they're taking care of 40, 50, 80 plus family members. Like, that's definitely very appropriate. It's not a little bit of people. You think their last name is living in a shack? Not at all. And how do they maintain that knowing that they're at the mercy of the company performing well that they're not managing? These people are living off of this. That's how powerful it is to take a company public and have it on the stock market and live off the dividends or live off equity in the company. That's how powerful it is. That's the market y'all living in. People are dang near clamoring to get to the United States to take a company public. Who doesn't want to take a company public in the United States? But how many families are thinking that? Oh man, I'm just having a little mom and pop shop. Sure, we know mom and pop shops, and they go from one hand to the next, one hand to the next, one hand to the next, one hand to the next. It's a generational wealth family company, but they didn't scale it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We're thinking right now about this one glasses company that we know in New York. They're on their third or fourth generation, most likely fourth or fifth, and they're just a small time company, meaning that they don't have a lot of locations in the world. They didn't make it a point to expand to a bunch of locations in New York. They just have a good sized place that they have, and they've been there for over 80 years. They've been over there for most likely a long, probably close to 100 years. That's just what it is. Some of them they've been around for over that many years. They've been around for 3 or 4 generations. These people they're still a generational wealth business, but the generational wealth myth is that they're wealthy. How they generational wealth just because they passed along the business from one generation to the next. We're not knocking it. We're just sharing with you all the dichotomy of the philosophy. Oh, I want generational wealth, so I'm gonna just pass along my business from one generation to the next. But at the same time, sure, the business did scale via the numbers, but here we go. We shared with you all examples of one other individual family that they actually don't do anything in the company, and they have over 50 plus family members being taken care of, and they're not living in those slums. They are living well. Sure, they're not all running around being flashing around that they're multi-millionaires, but they're definitely taken care of financially. And so When you deal with families that are just passing along one business, that's the company we think about with the glasses right now in New York. They, actually successful, very successful, very well known internationally. They just It's not like they're scaling around in multiple states with locations. And how's that generational wealth? There's just generational management from one generation to the next. So the myth is, oh yeah, we're gonna stay in the same business. Sometimes the family pivots. Sometimes the family sells off. That's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Generational wealth myth. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get wealthy off one deal, one transaction. When I sell my property, I'll have all the wealth I need. When I sell all my assets, I'll have all the wealth I need. That's how's that generational wealth. You talking about yourself. Generational wealth has got to be something that can have a good honey pot that can actually not be touched. The principle, as they say, the principle. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen to replay. Christian at trustchristian.com if you want to get a consultation. Christian at trustchristian.com. This was one of those conversations. Just wanted to do something very briefly and share it with people. Hey, there's a lot of generational wealth myths. People not prepared for it. They think they're really gonna come over to the generational wealth sector and say, "Oh yeah, I'm a generational wealther, Christian. I'm a just tough it out and make some money." What type of money you talking about? How you gonna do it working a job? How you gonna do that? I want to lock in, trust Christian, man. I'm so focused right now. I got so much going on. Yeah, I don't even want to know how you distracted with poverty. How you distracted with how you distracted with those things. Friends and family members that aren't necessarily helping you achieve your goals. We got trustees right now we working with. Trustees then connected with two high net worth investors since we know them. Or at least two individuals that are millionaires. Oh man, they ain't a billionaire. Nah, but they a multi-millionaire. They got legitimate businesses that you could see. They got physical locations. They got bills. Some people say, oh, the entrepreneur could not even be making money, but they got a business. That's fair. But at the end of the day, it's about the revenue of the company. The revenue of their companies is what they consider their value, and that's true. At the end of the day, they still generating over $500,000, $1 million a year in revenue through their assets. And it's like, okay, you connected with these people, but are you really building a relationship? Are you really digging into the relationship? And most not digging into the relationship. They just, oh man, I know somebody, or I don't know somebody. I don't know too many people that are wealthy, trust Christian, and in the vault. That's the point. You got to meet those people. You got to talk to those people. You got to connect with those people. And then when you finally meet them, you got to build a relationship. It might sound corny. Don't you got friends now? Right. Well, do you want wealthy friends? See, this comes to the attitude. Oh man, I don't know if I could deal with wealthy people. I don't want to deal with them. I think they greedy. I think they this. I think they that. Yeah, then how you gonna be wealthy? What, you gonna be the exception to the rule? Generational wealth myth. I'm going to get the money and then I'll feel good instead of feeling good and then the money comes. Is it not like that? But see, the paradox of the public says, "Oh yeah, trust Christian." Uh, what's the paradox of the public says? You gotta see it to believe it. That's the paradox of the public. Generational wealth. How you gonna see generational wealth? You supposed to be passing along generational wealth. How somebody gonna see that? Ain't nobody gonna see that. You supposed to be passing along generational wealth. That's something that two and three and the second and third generations gonna see. Why would anyone in your immediate lifetime see the true generational wealth that you built for your family? Why would they see that? Most people couldn't even justify that. You got people running around on the internet, oh yeah, I'm a millionaire. You got people running around on the internet, oh yeah, I made all this money. How's that generational wealth mentality? Generational wealth mentality is quiet. They're not out here talking, oh yeah, we done made this much money and this that. We look at a lot of deals and they don't even disclose the value of the assets and the net worth. They just say, oh, it was a transference of an asset. It's like, really? Y'all not even gonna tell the price? Nope. So you gotta do some soul searching, as they say. Ladies and gentlemen, this game over here, when it comes to generational wealth, it's gonna get a little messy. You know, this is the blood and sweat and tears game right here, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody want to talk about, oh, so many people want to say, oh yeah, generational wealth, generational wealth. We're gonna go ahead and let people take that pass. All right, you want to say generational wealth, that's great. Everybody want to talk about it as if it's a $50,000 a year income or $30,000 a year income or something like that. But at the end of the day, there are so many people that are making more than 100, 200, 300, half a million. The athletes are making tons of money and they'll still tell you they don't have generational wealth. And they're making hundreds of millions of dollars because they spending it. The lifestyle currently, the lifestyle. How is that generational wealth mentality for the next generation if you living off the lifestyle right now? Some people say, oh, what, you not gonna live right now? We're not saying that. But we know one thing for sure, two things for certain. If somebody has in their lifetime, if they can generate more than $20 million, there will be a thought process that's out in the universe right now, at least in the financial sector, that you are considered to be a high net worth investor. And so from that position, that means that an individual, hey, they could say, oh yeah, I earned it over a period of time, but at the end of the day, they were supposed to be stashing it, and at the end of the day, the system says you're supposed to be able to live off that. Because think about, if you work from your, let's just say you work from 22 years old or 25 years old till 65, that's 40 years. So 40 years, let's just say you made $1 million, what is that, $10 million a year, or 40, over that period of time, you made millions of dollars a year, or a significant amount of money each year. And you came out with a $20 million life estate, like, oh yeah, I made $20 million. Sure, there was a tax involved in there. At the end of the day, they still made a significant amount of money compared to a lot of other people. And they still would say, oh well, I don't know how I could do this. Well, generational wealth says if you make over $20 million, then, or you have $20 million, you're a high net worth investor. If you even have it, let alone have made it. It's just interesting to see the marketplace nowadays. We see so many Americans, and it's like, who are you talking to? Who's the audience here, Trust Christian? Is it the 80% or the 20%? Is it the 20% that's going to do the work and truly come out and have generational wealth? Or is it the 80% just listen and just love hearing about, oh man, that guy's wealthy, that family's wealthy, that family put a system in place, that family did the work, somebody in their family stepped up and did the work. I don't know how I'm going to step up and do the work. I don't know if I'm worthy of doing the work, Trust Christian. That's the 80%. The 20%, we just gonna go ahead and bust the 20% down, because when we get into 20%, it's still the 80-20 rule. So even in the 20%, we'll go to the 20% of the 20%. They actually gonna do it. They got the business in place. They've listened to Trust Christian and the vault. They're understanding that it's a more than one transactional situation, and they're prepared for that. They're not just looking at one, so they're developing other additional income streams, because they understand that it's not going to come from one transaction. They've heard that loud and clear. They've been in the rooms with Trust Christian and they understand the training. So then you get to the 80% of the 20, and this is where, once again, here we go. It's a lot of them anyway, so y'all see it's 80% of the 20. And what do y'all think they doing? All they doing is like, oh yeah, Trust Christian, I'm going to read the book, Trust Christian. I'm going to read the books. I'm going to study. I'm going to learn all about it. I'm going to be an employee. And, I'll be inside of Trust, but I'm an employee. I haven't figured out that I got to be in business for myself. And I also have to make it a point to possibly put us in a position where this business is going to pay us for generations. So it's not built on me. It's built around a system. That's how it looks, ladies and gentlemen. Is that rocket science? But the generational myths are real. And we look forward to continuously talking about it. We'll think about some more as we go. That's why we labeled this one part one. Is that they're trying to, they're trying to get rich off one transaction thing. Like, what are you doing in your life that you're gonna get rich? We got trustees say, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a business and I'm gonna make $1 million a year. You're already over 30. So okay, we're talking about generational wealth. You gonna make the trust work till you 60, or you gonna put some things in place? Make $1 million a year. I'm gonna get the business to where it's generate $500,000 a year. Okay, that's not generational wealth. That's just being honest with y'all. Oh man, Trust Christian, you gotta be the one to say it. Yes, Trust Christian's gotta be the one to say it. Cause so many people think they gonna squeal and deal by. How you gonna squeal and deal by? Say, oh yeah, my business is making $500,000 a year, so this is generational wealth. I'm very happy and content. That's all it is. That's the 80% of the 20. I got a little bit of cushion, Trust Christian. I got a little bit of cushion from the job for now. So if I don't really build the generational wealth right now, even though I have intentions to, I'll get to it. Really? I'm playing with it. They part-time business owner in it. How you gonna part-time business owner? There's no part-time business owners. This is a hard thing for people here. Network marketing mess people up for that. Oh man, this is part-time business. If you're not in network marketing, it's probably not part-time. And even if you're in network marketing, you got to put in significant amount of time into a business, ladies and gentlemen. What makes people think they're gonna go into business and work less than they did in a job? Is that a myth or what? Generational wealth myth. Oh yeah, Trust Christian, I'm gonna build my generational wealth in the evening, but I'm gonna go to the generational wealth time stealer to call a job. Now, we're not knocking jobs. Some people have jobs for various reasons. It's all exciting, it's all good. But at the end of the day, we're talking about it from the perspective of a significant amount of money for your family for generations. And you not actually working either. This time, right now, or the family members that are going to come after you. So, we'll do another one, part two or something for sure. But definitely want to do this episode because this is one of those things, a lot of people oh man, I'm gonna build generational wealth. It's like, what is going on in the marketplace? These people really think they could just say this stuff, and it's like, yeah, you might as well just sell a T-shirt that says generational wealth on the front of it. It's like, sure, you can make a lot of money selling that. Why? Because everybody wants it. Don't mean they're gonna get it. That's the closest thing they're gonna get to generational wealth is the T-shirt. That's what it is. They're gonna get the T-shirt. But if you're not gonna be the T-shirt wearer and you actually gonna be Scrooge McDuck, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta enroll in trustee training. You gotta have a system in place. You know how many trustees reach out to us? This is a fact. People will reach out. Oh, Trust Christian, I gotta trust. Okay, they gotta trust. They got the system. I got a trust system. Trust Christian. What do you? Okay, yes, appreciate it. They got a trust system, right? Right. But they don't know how to manage it. How many meetings do they have set up? How many people do they have sit on the board? Who's sitting on the board with them other than themselves? Who's sitting not just on the board other than themselves? Who's the beneficiary since they got the system set up? Who's their successor trustee since they got the system set up? Who is that? Because they don't have a system really set up. They just been sold to trust. Oh, Trust Christian, I got a generational wealth tool. I got the trust system set up. Hey, but you don't know how to be a trustee, and you the trustee. Hear that? Generational wealth myth. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in a replay. Feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. Feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from y'all. We got a lot of things going on, but at the same time, we know that there's some big fish that listen to the vault. We've always had big fish listen to the vault. We appreciate it for sure, and we're going to continue to serve more and more. We look forward to hearing from you for sure. Peace and joy.